Welcome to the Chef's Pantry and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Anna Rossi and I love this time of year. We've got the hydrangeas in bloom. It's that shoulder season where there's a lot of weight in our produce bags and some really good things coming in the pipeline like potatoes, like root vegetables, onion and garlic. But let's hold on a little tighter because on today's menu we have some great bites of end of summer. I'm gonna make with you a delicious eggplant tarte tatin. And then we have to start Amelie's stuffed tomatoes, or tomate farcie. This dish is inspired by our cousin George's beautiful French wife, Amelie. We were staying with them just outside of Paris, exploring France. The day I met Amelie, she was making this dish and emerged from the kitchen in an outfit very similar. So let me show you what goes into this masterpiece. To start, heavy tomatoes. We have some great ones coming in still off the vine. I've gone ahead and gotten a head start here with some garlic, some sauteed onion, and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Then we're bringing in flavor with delicious green olives, some capers that are going to bring in a little bit of salinity along with the olives, really good Dijon mustard, some fleur de sel, and probably 2 extra pinches of fresh herbs than you would ordinarily put into this. Okay, so let's start by hulling out our tomatoes. Let's give these tomatoes a home here too. So the thing I love about cooking is that you can follow a recipe, right? We love a good recipe, but there's always that little extra secret ingredient, that little bit of mischief that's so particular to who prepared it. So in the spirit of bringing in that little je ne sais quoi, right? Like maybe it is in a bikini, clothing optional, aprons required, right? Okay, so here, let's take in these big little pieces, big hearts of the tomato. Basically, we want to create a tomato mixture that will go into our saute of the onions and the garlic, and then have the chance to cook down, reduce a little bit of the tomato water, so you are left with just that essence of summer gifts from the vine, and that will also incorporate really well into a nice meat mixture, which is probably the star ingredient that I forgot to mention that we're stuffing these tomatoes with that I have in the refrigerator. Okay, so chop, give those little big parts a nice little head start to breaking down, and then we can go ahead and add this still back over to the hot grill. And then here we go, we're gonna add in all that great tomato juice in there. So on your cooktop inside, crank the heat to medium high. I'm gonna use my grill like a cooktop too, in the spirit of savoring all these great moments that we have left outside. And then be my eyes. Wave your hands if it starts to smoke. But hey, meet me back around over here. Let's go ahead and pop in the olives. I've chopped these. I love great green olives. I buy them pitted already. You could tear them or you could give them a coarse chop. And then while these waited for us to arrive, I left them soaking in their brine just so they stay super juicy. They're thirsty. So we want to make sure we respect their wishes and keep them well hydrated in there, right? And then how about some capers? If a little juice pops in there, that is totally fine in there. And mustard was such a love story when we were eating our hearts out this past August. This Bornibus is so fantastic. Dijon lovers out there, if you're looking for an ultimate Dijon mustard, look no further. It's right here. It has a big punch to it, big flavor. In fact, my husband loved it so much, he brought 6 heavy jars back in our checked bag, only to find it at Home Goods when we went in a couple days ago too. So maybe you'll luck out there. Okay, let's get some herbs going in there too. Parsley would be great. tarragon. Here I have what's left in my garden. I have some oregano, some thyme, and a little bit of rosemary that I gave a little bit of a mince to. And then how about some fleur de sel? This fleur de sel actually comes from Guérande. It's a beautiful little medieval village on the Atlantic coast of Brittany in France. And they have 8 square miles of salt marshes where they're hand harvesting with these beautiful rakes and slow sweeps the fleur de sel. It's absolutely incredible. If you're having a little fun playing around with some new flavor combinations, take a little bit of the meat and sear it. So this is a blend actually of bison and Italian mild pork sausage. So bison is pretty mean, pretty lean. It has a great big flavor to it, and then pork fat I think is so good, so the two balances out very nicely in there. Okay, we're mixed. Should we see how we've simmered? Let me see. Okay. Ooh, you know what? I think you're gonna want to see this. If you're working outside, don't be shy. The longer the handle on a little wooden tool, the better, but I can see things are reducing down nicely. I'm gonna give this another 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes to cool so I don't scare the meat mixture when this hits it. I don't wanna cook it before it's gone into my 375-degree oven. But then we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, this looks beautiful. Our little tomato water has reduced nicely. It's had a minute or two to cool just a little bit so we don't sear or steam the meat when we go ahead and add it. And I like that it's juicy, not too soupy, so it's going to give a nice amount of moisture without needing to add extra virgin olive oil, an egg, you name it, to create a nice consistency before these go back into the tomatoes. And by virtue of using the tomato itself as the vessel for something like this to stuff, the meat's going to stay very tender and steamy and juicy and packed with flavor. See how you get that nice sauceability with the simmered tomato and onion and garlic? It's just working its way around into this great mixture. Go ahead if you are interested in adding a little cheese, a pecorino, or a really good bold Gruyere. Shredded would also be great in this. Okay, I'm liking this. How are you liking this? She's calling our name. Okay, tomate farci, here we go. Okay, so to just make things easy, I'm gonna use a little ice cream scooper to basically add equal portion through these tomatoes. I think we can get two good-sized scoops in there. A little extra virgin olive oil in the base of my porcelain baker will help make sure that these don't stick. But as these bake, these are going to release a lot of that great fat content in there and create a really nice sauce. So this would be something absolutely fantastic to serve with a nice steamed rice, or today I'm just keeping it really simple with a good crusty baguette. Now I used 2 pounds of meat total in the mixture today. So this would probably yield about a dozen stuffed tomatoes, about the size of half a head, anyway, in there. So you can also, if you would like, just go ahead and create little meatballs that will nest around in there too. It's a great use for this. You could bake it off like a meatloaf. Also, nothing goes to waste. Or you could use this to stuff peppers or eggplant. A meat mixture like this is a friend, certainly, in this house. A great make-ahead also. If you're having friends over for the evening, go ahead and get this ready, put this in the fridge, and then ready to bake it off when the time comes. And then let's go ahead and add the caps. I think I kept them kind of matched. Ideally, they go where they match back up where they came from, because that's how you get that aesthetic perfect fit. Okay, today we're going to eat at the end. The only thing precious on this menu are you and I and whoever else we bring to the table. So let's pop these in the oven, let them go for an hour. When we come back, let's make eggplant upside down. Welcome back to the Chef's Pantry. I am taking you to France today. It's where our family spent the month of August exploring just outside of Paris and beyond. And the outfit is also inspired by our trip to France. Our beautiful cousin Amelie was wearing not much more than this when we walked in, and I met her for the first time whipping up a delicious summer stuffed tomato dish. Now we're also rolling into some of the great flavors that we had while traveling and making a tarte. I love tarts. They're so great sweet, they're so great savory. This is an eggplant tarte tatin. You may see this on the dessert menu in the form of apple. That's what is most traditional. And basically when you see tarte tatin, it means that there's some delicious puff pastry involved and it's been inverted. So what was once on the bottom is now on the top. And so you get this great caramelization, lots of really interesting texture, and a nice flaky crust to land the plane. So eggplant, I love eggplant, and also eggplant love New England. So I'm always looking for creative ways to use them in new ways. Also, question for you. Tell me, do you, if you like eggplant, believe that you should salt them and then let them sit for an hour or 4 to let them wick out their bitterness? Well, that's what I just thought you needed to do. But I was just talking with my friend Leela, and she and I both agreed, well, maybe we don't need to do that anymore. So I have not done that. I have salted these, and these have a good heavy hand of extra virgin olive oil. You could go ahead and sear these unbreaded on your stovetop, but I'm gonna grill them. I've got my grill going. Also, let me just show you quickly what we have also for flavor. In terms of a good cheesy filling, how about some feta, some sun-dried tomatoes, some herbs de Provence, some smoked paprika, some coriander, some garlic, a little handful if I get around to chopping that of some fresh herbs, a little lemon juice, and then we're gonna do a little egg wash and flour at the end to bring it all together. But let's get these grilling. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay these down and hopefully not lose too much arm hair along here. Ha! Right? I don't know, the pros and cons of this wardrobe decision. Now, come back over here because let's go ahead and start to make the filling. Here I'm gonna use some feta and get that tang and that smoothness that you see with a fromage blanc by whipping this. I am loving tweezers. I am not a precise cook. I know you know, right? But look how handy these are. Wow, this is so fun. So sun-dried tomatoes, if you have some cherry tomatoes lingering, pop these in your oven at 250. Forget about them for maybe 7 hours. Come back with a little extra virgin olive oil and they will have reduced, they'll be syrupy, and they'll be fantastic. Loads of sun-dried tomatoes in there. If you're buying them, buy them sun-dried, curing in a little extra virgin olive oil. Also, look at the ingredients on the back of them. These have been preserved with some herbs too, so that's gonna be part of what you're talking about. So know what you're serving. Herbs de Provence, some oregano, some lavender, some thyme, some marjoram, some sage. It's really a nice blend. You know what, I'm gonna go all in with the coriander here. And then let's whip it good and try not to serve up the hydrangea in the process. Okay, let's look at this. That looks beautiful. Let me go ahead and give it a little taste here. I love sun-dried tomato. My eggplant intuition is kicking in. Do you think we should check on it? And look, that we were right, not a moment too early. Okay. These, I'm just thinking I should probably drop the heat down to low because now I don't trust myself. Come back over, the grill is super hot. Let's go ahead and turn it out into a little bowl here so I can add a little bit of lemon juice. Right at the end, just a little blitz of acidity, and something like that will be a great way to balance out the creaminess that you get with the feta, and also just sort of bring some life and character to the great herbs, the smoked paprika, the coriander that we have going on in here. This would be really good dipped with baguette as is. It needs nothing more. Okay. Let's slice open a little lemon, and I'm thinking we need about half half of her in there too. This will add just a little bit of juiciness. So I'm just laying down a little flour on my work surface so it doesn't stick. And then speed is relatively of the essence here. So this comes with a little baking paper, parchment paper, to keep it from sticking. And I think, what do you think? Will this basically work its way across? Yeah, I think basically it's the right size. But oh boy, everything's happening at once. Don't go away. Let me pull off the eggplant. These are beautiful, great color, nice char. Now we're gonna lay them out thinking about how the beginning is going to be the end. So I'm gonna start from the center and then work my way around, just giving a little bit of an overlap. And I think probably besides the center piece, we'll have room for 2 little rings in there. And I like that these have a really nice thickness to them, something that we'll be able to identify that these are eggplant when we go and dip our fork and knife into these. Serving a dish like this with some bitter and peppery arugula would be so great. I think we did it. Okay, I'm gonna place the beautiful feta sun-dried tomato herb mixture right in the center here of my puff pastry, if I can get my shadow out of the way too, and then just give it a nice little smothering, keeping in mind that I'm working with about a 10-inch dimension here in my pie pan. So roughly forming a circle. Again, like I said earlier, the only thing precious at the table today are the dinner guests. So part of what this is just being assertive and playful with the flavors that we're bringing and not worrying so much about perfection, right? When you're working with good ingredients, you're off to a really good start. Okay, now, so you can see too, I'm really leaning into the imperfect part, am I right? Okay, we laid her down. So the feta cheese mixture is pressing against the beautiful grilled eggplant. And now let's take our little snipping shears and just run along the outside. Do not let this precious puff pastry go to waste. You could roll this with some tinned anchovy and Parmesan for a little salty bar snack. You could sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and sugar and butter and egg wash on there and make what my mom used to call lady fingers. The work has already been done for you when you're working with a great puff pastry. It's all about the butter, baby. That's an egg. We whisked it. And then I'm going to use this for a little wash. Even though we're not going to see this when it's on the bottom living, I like that this does give it that golden texture that will be a visual indicator that this is ready to come out of the oven. And also, I think just add a little bit extra to that great flakiness. And then there's going to be a great amount of steam that releases from the eggplant and also from the puff pastry. It's the butter releasing its liquid that gives it that poof. So I just want to go ahead and create some outlets. We all need a few outlets in our life, am I right? And this delicious eggplant tarte tatin is just like us, right? Let the steam out. And then here I'm just folding over the excess in there. And because I have it, how about a little pinch of our beautiful hand-harvested fleur de sel from our little road trip to Brittany, France. Okay, this is going in the same oven as our stuffed tomatoes. When we come back, honey, we need to eat. We weren't lying when we said hot out of the oven. Welcome back to the chef's pantry. Our eggplant tarte tatin is ready for a flip, and our tomate farcie, or Amelie's stuffed tomatoes, are looking gorge, ready for their close-up. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but if it doesn't, no one needs to know, right? It'll just be for you and I. Maybe next time we won't do it inverted, but we'll give it our best. I'm taking my pie plate, I'm pressing down firmly. I'm gonna give it a flip, nice and neat, and say a prayer. Okay, I didn't hear anything. Not like she was gonna talk to me. Okay. I feel like it's rude to have the first look, but look at her. Beautiful eggplant tarte tatin. And it was easy, right? Am I right? Yes. I'm gonna give you a round of applause. That is so gorgeous. Now, look, we could garnish off with a few little pinches of basil. If you're working with a living plant, just go ahead and pinch off that top little bundle. I've been working with this plant all summer long and it just keeps going. So maybe a little chiffonade would be lovely, but we'll just let her eggplant and chill like that while we take a look at our beautiful stuffed tomatoes. Easy, simple dishes with great ingredients. Okay, I'm gonna wait, I think, for my family to bite into a tomato, but I cannot wait to just taste the delicious meat blend. Cook this until it reaches 160. That's the safest way to go. Depending on your tomato size and how much you stuffed it with, the cook time will vary just a little bit, so go based on temperature. It's the mustard for me. This is not a meatball filling. This is so much more, and a great way to do same but different, playing around with your favorite flavors. And I really want to see what this is all about, so let's dive in to this. Look at that spongy, juicy quality that we get with this decadent, happy eggplant. Wow. Cheesy, I want you to see it. Which way are you gonna look? That beautiful sun-dried tomato filling in there. Great vegetarian substantial dish. Don't be shy in trying this with summer squash or zucchini as a nice topping. Something that has a really pretty visual song would be great. And here we are in New England, but also a toe in France. Thanks so much for cooking with me today in the Chef's Pantry. I'll bundle up next week. See you soon.